Hey everybody, glad to have you here to talk about the new functionality released with Excel add-in version 3.15 via YCharts. Within this new Excel version, we'll give you the functionality to pull in any ETF or mutual fund's top 25 holdings. To do so in Excel, all we'll need is the symbol of the mutual fund or the ETF that you would like to perform this type of analysis on, as well as the syntax for the holdings weight call, which is holdings_weight. Once we have these two cells populated with the appropriate values, we can then go into another empty cell and type YCI, reference the symbol of the ETF or mutual fund, and then as the second argument, reference the holdings weight. Once we have those referenced, go ahead and just hit enter on your keyboard. And as you can see, that will pull in the top 25 holdings for, in this case, SPY, as well as the weightings of those top 25 holdings. If you're looking to quickly format this weight column as a percentage, go ahead and just highlight that column, click the drop down to format the cells, and then select percentage. So it's important to note here that pulling in all the holdings for a given ETF or mutual fund is not possible at this point in time via Excel version 3.15. That's something we may be adding in the future, but as of now, again, just top 25. And when performing these analyses, I definitely myself like to see essentially what percentage of the ETF or mutual fund I'm analyzing. So what we can do here is just take a basic Excel function, the sum function, and simply do that for all the weights of this column. And you guys will see that essentially we're analyzing about 34% of the portfolio for SPY if we were to perform any weighted averages, etc. And right now I'm actually going to take you through kind of that use case of taking a weighted average for the top 25 holdings of a particular ETF or mutual fund. So now that we know kind of the percentage that we're analyzing, we can then reweight these percentages to add up to essentially 100%. So then we can take a true weighted average of the top 25 holdings. And how to do that is you're just going to want to go into a different column, simply reference the individual weight for the security, and then divide that by the sum of the top 25 holding weight. As you can see, that will transform the original weights into a new weight that we can also format as a percentage. And then from there, it's simply pulling in whatever metric you'd like to perform this analysis on. For this exercise, I'm going to choose revenues growth. And this is the quarterly year-over-year revenue growth for each individual company. And once we have that syntax entered into a cell, we can then start our YCP function by typing YCP, open parentheses, and then just simply reference that first ticker, and then reference revenues growth or whatever other metric that you'd like to analyze as your second argument. And once we have that, simply hit enter and drag that formula down for each individual symbol. Again, just going to quickly format that as a percentage. And from here, now that we have the reweighted percentages just relative to the top 25 holdings, and we have the revenue growth of those top 25 holdings, we can use Excel's sum product function to reference the new weights for this top 25 holdings, and then the revenue growth column. Once we have that, that will then output the weighted average of the portfolio for quarterly year-over-year revenue growth. And then from here, again, you can kind of switch out, use any syntax you'd like. So if you're looking at maybe net income to see how profitable the top 25 holdings are in a given ETF or mutual fund, you can definitely do so. So with that said, that sums up this video. And if you have any outstanding questions about the functionality or any questions in general, feel free to contact your customer support representative. You can get their contact information by hovering over the support tab on YCharts.com and then clicking on Contact Us. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.